Hey, Audrey, mind if I sit here? Or lay against you? Because I'm going to need your cooperation to not fall into the shrubbery, because that would suck really bad, because, wait. Okay, I was gonna make a joke more, but, like, God, I have to actually remember that we haven't gotten the shrubbery done in a while. Jessica had that event, and Gregory was getting married to Tom. So, fuck, it's been like 4 weeks. Maybe a little bit more. I'm gonna have to make a note about that for myself later. Reminder to myself. Um, Yeah, it would suck even more to fall into the shrubbery than I was thinking then, huh? Gods. It's nice to make these little jokes to myself, though. Helps me remember still shit like this. Still, I hope that you don't mind me resting against your tree. I'd rest against my own, but it's a little bit too small for me to have my full weight against it. I ain't gonna be out here without the mics or anything to just fucking think. So thank you for the support. Now, fuck, yesterday was a day. It certainly was. Fuck. Oh, shit. Well, at least now I know that I'm not as unaffected by my trauma because of the fact, my condition. Had a real hard time fucking getting my head into its headspace at the start. And talking about it in detail kinda threw me off. Luckily, I don't think she noticed. Really did a good job on that little knife part. I really didn't want to fucking hurt her. So I guess, like, the fear of that was enough to, like, push me forward into being, like, past my trauma. I guess. Fucking ridiculous. Still. Man, that shit was scary. Especially when she lost that light in her eye. But, come on. No, come on. We know that light would go out. Even if she's a fellow monster. We made as much peace as we can years ago, didn't we? Back on that rooftop. So deal with it. Yeah. Anyway, fuck. What should I do now, though? Kind of in a precarious position. She is very fascinating, though. I am. I'm going to also have to be careful with it, aren't I? Cause, like, she doesn't like me anymore. I'm not underneath that protection. I could wake up with a fucking knife to my throat. Interesting, but I'd rather the story not end yet. We made that promise to ourselves, didn't we? So I can't choose that yet. Plus it'd be bad. But what can we do? Well, we could probably try and figure out somebody else to set her up with. But we have to keep an eye on her. Luckily, I'm pretty certain that was her first kidnapping. Because, well, she didn't say anything to the contrary, and also those ropes were shit. I'm so glad I took those classes. But, I don't know what mask I should wear for her. Preppy? Hi, I'm gonna be... No, that's way too feminine for what I was more doing back then. And we'd be coming off as way too disingenuous when I'm just talking to her. I need something that's a little bit more mask-leaning, along with something that's, still threatening. But it still has to be something that's, like, able to fit my general vibe still, because, like, I mostly wear, like, more femme things, so I can't have the voice be, like, super masculine, because that kind of creates a contrast, and the contrast can cause cognitive dissonance, and I could underline the entire thing, which I'm trying to do. Hi. No. Hi. Hello. Hello, darling. Oh, what are you thinking? Oh, do you not mind the performance? Maybe something like more that? A little bit more femme. Hello? Hello? Oh, what do you mean? I've done nothing wrong. Well, we share a little secret now, don't we? I'm so fascinated to learn about a fellow monster. So please, oh please, why don't you mind telling me, how did you end up like this? Especially if your family's supporting it. Oh my, I do find that so fascinating. So please, mind giving me your backstory? Ugh. Like, the voice is right. I have to figure out what lines to use, though. Especially since I still want to drop it a little. Because I can slowly drop that down, can't I? Into going into, like, well, of course, I'm just here as a friend. I'm here to help. Into, well, of course, I'm here to help. So, what's the magnificent boy or girl that you're interested in? Or a lovely day? Though, I need to let you know, no kidnapping. You have to charm, though, on your own merits. Now, luckily, I can present a right opportunity for you. As long as you stay in those good graces and, don't fucking kidnap a person. Alright? I believe in you. I think you can keep those tendencies in check. Don't you? A little bit more threatening than I'd want to be, but I kind of need a threatening angle, don't I? I do need to wonder how long it'll be before she finds somebody else, though. She did find me, like, immediately, so, God, I'm gonna have to, like, fucking figure out something for school next, aren't I? I kinda should probably be more directing that to make sure she doesn't do anything bad. And at least the threat of me should make it so it's harder. Do that? Fuck. Honestly, you'd think I'd have a death wish. Which I do, but not in that way. The rollers. She seems like she just needs help. And I think I can do that. Cause, like, when she saw that lady in her eye, she was so horny at me holding a knife to her throat and threatening her. And, like, it wasn't even play or something. That was, like, real. Oh God, it's like, if somebody found that out, I can only imagine. There are a lot of terrible people who'd use that against her, and, like, I don't want that to happen to her. Anyone, really? Okay, is there, like, any last things we need to think about? I don't think so. If not, we can come here again, I guess. Thank you for being a good listener, I guess, Tree. Fuck. Well, at least you should be the only one listening. After all, I made sure this little area has no fucking mics or anything. Good place to clear my head. I'll still be here. Okay, so the plan is we should meet her tomorrow at school, shouldn't we? And then do a checkup, be vaguely threatening in the other type of way. Then we shouldn't, like, drop in the suite too quickly, shouldn't we? But I get a general vibe in case she's already fallen for somebody else. And, like, blackmail her, I guess. Not to kidnap somebody. Feels really weird to do, but, like, I guess that's the right thing to do, right, in this scenario, isn't it? Oh God, my life is so weird. Fucking gonna be a tightrope, though, isn't it? But at least because of my wealth and everything. Plus, I can just say I set up a dead switch, couldn't I? Yeah, she'd believe that. Not like I could actually set up one without actually, like, fucking tripping some shit in the system, but if she believes at the very least that I set up a death switch, then it should have the same amount of effect as in case I actually did make one. And with that performance, when I had the knife and threatened her, she should believe that I mean that. After all, I am the uncaring monster. What did I say? The monster of logic. Something like that. Having a failsafe would be completely logical and natural, right? It's not like she knows detailing everything that I have inside the house, or all the countermeasures my parents have made over the years. Restrictions on stuff. Or keyword searches. So it should be fine. Should be. And that should keep her in check, at least. And then I can try and figure out a little bit more about how her condition functions. And then try and work from there. After all, I have been a good shoulder to lean on, and then slowly reduce the amount of, pressure I go over, and make it more appear that I'm more interested in her because she's a monster like myself, and that should follow through. Yeah, lean into the fact that she's fascinating, which she is, so that shouldn't be a hard performance to pull off. And then find somebody for her. There are a lot of people that are pretty sweet. I know I can hook her up with somebody that's really good. Just need to figure out what exactly the type that she actually found attractive. She did say part of it was my kindness. And, that wasn't enough. I don't think that's a healthy amount just from that small interaction to go over and have that much of a crush on me, but what would I know? I'm not really the normal, am I? But I can set up some meet cutes. Yeah, we can do that. And then from there she should be good. Or as good as one can be. Okay. All plans are in order. Now for the malevolent scheming. Fuck. Anyway, think that's all. I can't write it down, but this should stay in my head. Okay. So it all starts tomorrow. Okay. Let's hope that we don't botch this next performance like we did the last one. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Tree, or Mrs. Tree, I don't know, for listening. I gotta go now. Still, it's been absolutely lovely to... Fuck, why is it now twice in a row that when I do a fucking comedic twirl, just as an over-exaggeration that I notice something? God fucking damn it. Okay. Fuck. Who the hell threw a fucking glass in there? Because I saw that shine. Fucking hell. Okay. Shit. And the strawberry hasn't even done, so I need, am I in the right headspace? I can function normally, but I don't really have my, safety guards, I know I wouldn't care if I got cut right now. So I can't really pick it up myself. Okay. Who the hell would throw something like that too? Fuck. It's been what have it been the last 4 weeks? Shit, I'm gonna have to go fucking check on the cameras, aren't I? And give a stern talking to whoever did that, or in case they did it maliciously as a prank, they're fucking blacklisted. Well, at least there's something else to distract me from the other type of thing. That should be less stressful. Okay, so, look, let's just go over and look through the cameras. Sorry, Tree, to, be more annoyed. I just have to deal with this. No, it's sped up, but I never saw anything on those cameras. Fuck. What could it be? Is there any way to, Oh, yeah! Yeah. Paranoid me after that rooftop visit decided to put up some cameras myself, didn't I? They were, solar powered little spy cameras or something. God, they're not gonna be, that good, but I can at least get a better idea of where these things are, or where the scatter point would be. And then I can forward that to somebody. So, let's just... There we go. And... Fine. We'll see in case we can see them shattered to the light. Oh! Shit. Fuck, those weren't... Fuck. Those weren't fucking shards of glass. Those were binoculars. Fuck. Hiya. So, forewarning in advance, this afterword is going to be longer, which is why I've divided it into two main sections. The first section, which is going to be this part, is going to be me generally talking about some story things which I find really interesting, and some things to catch up on, so me to, kind of brag a bit, and to point in some little story hooks about what's going to happen in the future. The second part is going to be me doing the same thing I've done for a few of these videos, which is me explaining what is the actual sociopath truth to this. What's the truth of the condition here? What's not? And unlike some other things, I would actually have to explain how masking works for this one. And I can't assume you all know what that means, or that you have the same basis as me. Which is why I made a poll, and this video has been so delayed for so long. I've done this entire thing like 3 different times. Some of them being like over half an hour, which I'm going to try and be shorter this time. But, for that reason, I held up a poll to get a better idea in case people wanted me to make it a separate video or, keep it in here. And I promised myself I would be doing it on the first day. And the first day results, even though that would later change, was to keep it in the video. So that's going to be the second part, me explaining what masking is, what it means for me, and what masking is for this character, because the way this character masks is very similar to how I personally mask. However, I first want to talk about the main elements connected to this story. So first, the easiest one. For anyone who didn't pick it up, you were the one listening there. Your yandere character happened to evade all of the cameras, and then just hide over in the bushes, which they just assumed when they saw the little flicker of light was a glass bottle. In reality, those were binoculars. Oh, God, I can't word. Anyway, so all of the characters, based down in case you don't want to listen towards the masking segment, you can think of them more as base them when not performing normally for a crowd. That's all something that your character heard. That seems like that's going to take the story in a drastically different direction. Wouldn't you agree? However, speaking on perception and things like that, this entire series has been built on that. After all, since the very first part, where I didn't reveal this character was a sociopath, I played to your perception, didn't I? Not only through words, by making you love the character, hopefully, and making you fall in love with a very sweet, popular girl, only to reveal that they seemingly think they're a monster on the very last segment. But I've also been messing with your perception in a second way, by applying myself to 3 main rules for the editing of this series. It's one of the reasons this series takes so long. However, it seems I'll be dropping one of them because of some bullshit, but for me, just to brag a little bit here, for those who didn't notice it, the 3 rules towards how I do the pick crews here, aside just the expressions and stuff like that, the first one is this. This is the base pick crew. This is how you normally see them in the first part, and now and then. The thing is, and you see it whenever the character is by themselves. Notice anything different than some other times you saw them in this version? Yep, the eyes. A lot of people say that the light of the eyes is a reflection of your humanity, and, well, I myself like playing with that theme quite a bit in my work because of my own disorder. Asking a very fun question of, do you need to be human to be a good person? Could you lose your humanity in one way, whatever we value most about this, and still do good? I find that a fascinating question, which I've had in many different parts of my series. It's one of the reasons why I play around with the eye, having light and all that, quite a bit in my series if you actually pay attention. For this series in particular, though, because we are talking about sociopathy, whenever there's a light in their eye, that's them masking. I've been keeping this rule consistently since part 1, and whenever the mask drops, whenever that happens, you get this type pickerel. Subtle difference, yeah, but that light isn't there. If you go back to the very first part, when the character is comforting you, unable to grasp just how basic niceties, how they consider them, are apparently a lot for you, well, when they start ranting about how they aren't a good person, how this is bare basics, and they feel so bad that you haven't received that, their eye drops. You can go back and see this on part 1. Actually, it'd be very helpful for me because, like, you know, it helps the algorithm and all that. But that's an important point. When their mask drops, that's how they see the world. In a moment of anger, their mask dropped a little. I'm around you. What does that mean towards the third part? Them dropping their mask, even though that isn't apparent about what they are doing, and revealing their true thoughts, that led to a change. Which again, if we go back to the main part, you can notice this directly. The pickers changed to like this. Notice the difference between these two pickers here? Other than one looking a little bit smoother and stuff, I added a filter. I mentioned this before, but all the pickers that I make, I edit through gallery, the base gallery that your phone has. So, you know, by adding this little glow towards them and making it a little bit more pinkish, don't they feel more approachable? The edges are smoothed out, aren't they? With a little bit of pink light. Exactly how somebody completely and utterly obsessed with somebody would be. Somebody totally in love. After all, when you perceive them as your loved one, as one you adore above all else, and especially in an unhealthy form of love, you sand away all of their rough edges and see an idealized version of them. And that is why that version of them is in every single thing when they are with your character. Up until they reveal they're a sociopath. After that, we have this certain pic crew, which is on the thumbnail, of them looking a lot more scary. Because your obsession has been shattered, and they look scary to you now. As said before, the series is all about perspective and perception. Regardless of the perspective that you're looking at them from, either as, you know, with you not there, them just regularly existing and having the normal picture for them, or you being all lovey-dovey about them because you perceive them as a flawless being. Through that, I manipulate not only my characters. Pretty sure for some of you it worked, or didn't it? The only reason that the jump scare about them being a sociopath, of them being scary, hit so well, other than me building it up and stuff, because of that subconscious perception change, by me manipulating you through these pick roos. I am quite proud about it, so I wanted to brag about it once. Unfortunately, the pink ones have to be a little bit phased out because of the fact that, gallery updated, which means I can't make new fucking pink rows to go over and get the lovey-dovey feel. I was planning on an arc, which I may have to cut down, or maybe I'll change it. I don't quite know. But just fuck gallery. I've changed how I did pick rows because of this update change, because like it was very bad. But those are the main stuff you need to know about for the story. There is still one more possible product that I'm going to be having at the end of the video here, but that's only for those who have watched through the entire thing, or who skipped the last minute or something. But for now, I'm going to explain how the sociopathy part of this actually works through explaining masking to you all. So, masking can be a hard idea to grasp if you're closer to neurotypical or you haven't been online inside certain circles a lot. The best way I can present it towards you is that It's in the name. Masking. It's when somebody who is non-neurotypical, which means somebody whose brain or behavior in a certain way doesn't react in a normal manner, quote unquote on normal or average here, whichever one you prefer. And they pretend to be the average. They put on a mask, hiding or reinforcing parts of themselves to you don't perceive them as not normal. That's what masking is. Now, I'm going to give an example that some neurotypicals can actually grasp, talking about it. I'm going to assume most people who watch ASMR have watched anime, especially with like my designs here. They're very, the pictures I use are very anime inspired. I'd be very shocked if somebody watched me and hadn't at least the faintest clue about what anime was. So, masking is not just something that non-neurotypicals do. Most non-neurotypicals do it, but you can be neurotypical and still do it. So I want to give an example like that, using anime. So, say that you're inside of a friend group in middle school, and you don't quite know in case like your friends are fine with anime or in case they're not. Let's say specifically Pokemon. So you can't grasp in case your friends really like Pokemon or not. You don't know in case you should reveal that information that you're a Pokemon fan or not towards them. So you're masking that information because you're worried that you're not going to be seen as cool or approachable, or maybe your friends won't even be your friends anymore if they knew. It sounds stupid, but we're talking middle school here. So, for me, there are 3 main ways that I categorize masking, and we're going to use this little bed as an example for like how that would work. The first one is the easiest one, non-disclosure. You're with your friends and maybe they're just talking about other type of animes or something, but they're either super anime elitist about Neon Gellion or about how, Lelouch, totally a good guy, 100%, never did anything morally wrong, and Light, oh, Death Note's like the best. So, talking about how you really love Pokemon may feel a bit childish. Or maybe your friends around you are dismissing about anime because of all the hentai or some other type of bullshit inside of it. Or just hating on it because it's Japanese cartoons instead of American cartoons. Dumb, but again, middle school. So, you don't feel safe talking about this. Or at least they give vibes that maybe they like Pokemon, maybe they don't even know that Pokemon is an anime, maybe think it's Western because it's on shows, or maybe they also agree in case they're the elitist that Pokemon's good. You don't know for certain, but you get bad vibes. So you simply don't disclose they like Pokemon. Have you betrayed your friends? Are you not worthy of being a friend in case you haven't revealed this key part of information about yourself? No? Anyone who says that is stupid. You're not lying, are you? It just never came up. They never asked you in case you liked Pokemon or not. Or maybe they start talking about something that's close towards Pokemon and you bring up something else. Some other type of anime, or hell, Spider-Man or something to catch their attention. You're not disclosing the information because your question never gets asked. Maybe you redirect the intention, but you haven't lied. The second one is exactly that. Lying. Say that, in this example, they really hate Pokemon. They're trashing on it, how it's childish, how it's so bad, and that it's just something to hate on so much. And then they asked you, you hate Pokemon too, right? This is a group of 4 or 5 friends, let's say. And so, you lie. You say that you also hate Pokemon. Definitely a lie there, but isn't it a really important one? Will you go to your grave so sad about the fact that you lied about the fact that you actually like Pokemon? No. You knew from their reactions that your friend wouldn't react well towards you liking Pokemon. Maybe you could fight the uphill battle against them and convince them or change their minds about Pokemon that actually it's peak or whatever the fuck, but let's be honest. Do you really think you hold that power? No, likely not. So in that more hostile environment, you lie. easily understandable, and anyone who says that isn't forgivable, I think, is, well, not quite a reasonable person, at the very least. The last one is exaggerated truths. We talked about this one a little bit when we were going over on, non-disclosure. But an exaggerated truth would be you deflecting, you hiding the fact that you really love Pokemon specifically and talking about other anime. Maybe you talk about how Sailor Moon was really good, but oh, that 4-kid censorship. Or about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Was originally so much darker on something else. On the manga, like, people died there, didn't you know? It was originally a death game. Little things like that. Pieces of anime trivia, which you know. Or maybe you talk about Spider-Man or something else of the sort. Now, you haven't lied, but you're distracting, aren't you? Your friends may want to know about you liking Pokemon, or maybe have a feeling they may ask you about that. So instead, you talk about other animes that you like. You exaggerate these truths to deflect from, well, the thing you're hiding, the thing that you're masking right there. But you're not lying, nor are you not disclosing the information, because they didn't even ask at this point. They didn't even get close towards it. You're just bringing up other type of facts, and maybe putting on a bit of an image. After all, if you mean like darker anime, like talking about the deaths in Yu-Gi-Oh!, or the great censorship that happened towards Sailor Moon, or Madoka Magica, or other darker anime, well, they may not even ask you in the first place if you like Pokemon, the more wholesome series, right? You're only telling truths. You're maybe exaggerating how much you love these anime to distract from it, but again, you're not lying. You're just playing things up. That's all. And is that really so morally abhorrent? You feel uncomfortable talking about something, so you play up things that you actually like, that are more easy, normal to talk about, and that you feel less likely to be judged for. That seems totally normal, right? And the thing is, this is a childish version of it, but one that I hope that a lot of people can easily relate to, or can easily excuse. Masking is not an evil thing to deceive you, or something. It's just somebody feeling unsafe to be able to tell you them at their base form, or certain parts about themselves, and you aren't entitled to learning that, unless they feel comfortable telling you. Again, masking is something everyone does, to one extent or another, using these 3 main methods. Maybe it's not inside of a, middle school, which I'm pretty sure everyone lied a little bit in middle school, or exaggerated things, or simply didn't disclose what you were into. But maybe, for exaggerated truth, you're playing up how much you love a job at a certain place, even though you kind of don't like it that much, outside the job security. Or maybe you not disclose the fact you really hate somebody inside the company. Maybe your boss or something. These general masking techniques are done all the time by people in all walks and stages of life. And with that out of the way, a little bit more about me. For myself, I mostly use 2 methods. The first is non-disclosure. Most people wouldn't normally ask me if I'm a sociopath. I think that's a pretty easy bet. If I never brought it up in my work, nobody would have actually asked that, now would you? Especially from these afterwords and stuff. Even if my laughs sound a little bit fake sometimes, or maybe they sound completely natural, which I'd be surprised by. I'm actually a little bit sick right now. Well, you wouldn't think of it. It's not something that naturally clicks in your brain. So you never think to ask. Non-disclosure. Or exaggerate certain truths. I've mentioned many times before, I don't naturally emote. At all. Period. Like, I don't emote at all. Like, even this, like, close to my bass voice. Isn't how I naturally talk? Like, I'm putting on a performance of motion here. I've mentioned before in the previous video, I believe it was the previous video, that when I was a child, I'd go over and talk to people as, "Hello, are you in need of aid at the current moment?" Which you may notice by me continuing to talk in this voice, even though it is difficult because my throat is giving out a little bit. By me talking in this voice, there isn't any subtlety. I have a false, upbeat voice, but there isn't any little changes towards the voice. It's remaining completely static. It isn't something that a lot of people would naturally pick up on compared to a voice like this, where I'm naturally shifting a few little things around because that's how humans talk. I'm not telling a full truth because my brain just simply lacks the capacity to naturally emote. It's something that I force, which I'll talk about in a different video. Or likely at this point, the afterwards, but it is going to be in the main video when I do the sociopath one. So, do you feel bad about that? That instead of me talking in a voice like that, I make on these performances, these videos with more emotion? No, I would assume, right? And the same's for me. I do feel emotion. I am a sociopath, not a psychopath. But the part of my brain that allows me to communicate my emotions with somebody else just isn't naturally there. So, I exaggerate a truth. I feel happy, but my voice won't naturally do that happiness. So I exaggerate how happy I am to eventually, with a lot of practice, I'm able to actually sound happy for you. It's through this control of my level of emoting that also a lot of my videos have a little bit better voice work than you may expect from some other ASMRists. I've trained this sub-skill quite a bit. But I'm not lying, am I? I feel happy, just I can't quite express it naturally. So I exaggerate things until I can. I don't feel naturally that sad, but I do exaggerate things until it becomes clear to somebody else that I am sad. Same thing with every other emotion. And I don't personally think of that as evil. At least, at this point in time. Back then, well, we have more about this character to go through, so I'll leave things unsaid. But the main thing you need to know about exaggerated truths is there's always a grain of it. That's true. A seed, if you will. And perhaps that seed I, give the best fertilizer towards and inject it with a stupid amount of steroids to forcibly grow it towards a very large amount that makes it noticeable and overshadow everything else in the garden. But that seed does exist. And if that's the main way I cope with things, if that's the main way I experience my emotions and me masking, it makes sense that I add this towards my character, right? So, logically, exaggerated truths are most likely the main way this character works. Huh, that's really fun, isn't it? And totally fits, right? As I mentioned at the start, with the eyes disappearing and not them being kind towards you was a real part about them. They wanted to be kind, and even when their mask dropped, they were angry that you had not experienced how they considered such basic kindness. You really are a good person. Uh, hmm. However, one must wonder. I've talked about different things, about the exaggerations and things, and there has to be a grain of truth on something. It's one of the reasons why, inside the video where the speaker character is kidnapped inside the basement, they can't really talk normally. Because, I had to purposely unscript that one because the character, while being a sociopath, is not going to have total control on themselves when they are re-traumatizing themselves by being kidnapped. That isn't a thing. I had to purposely fuck up the script there. It was very annoying. But inside that same scene, when they held you with a knife, when they were being scary, when they threatened you by being the big, scary, logical monster. Well, that one seemed to hit a lot better. That little thing there. And if the main version that I do is exaggerating the truth, there must have been a seed of truth in that betrayal about their ability to just completely shut down how they were feeling and be able to threaten you and put you in danger. Sure, they got away out, but they were able to go to such an extent of violence. Well, that means that there's at least some part of them that's able to do that, isn't it? Some grain of truth there being exaggerated in a dangerous situation. But that side of them, at least in part, is real, I do so wonder if that will ever get brought up again. Who knows? I don't. Nobody here. Maybe me. But like you don't know. You don't know. Anyway, that's the end of this. It is 25 minutes. This is so much better than some of the versions that I did go through with. So yeah, I am going to be going now. I hope the masking advice is and like how to categorize it and making it seem more like a normal thing, because it is a normal thing. Honestly, it isn't just something that like people with mental disorders do. It's something that like everyone kind of does. It's just something that every non-neurotypical person has to more consciously learn how to manage. But I hope you liked the video, and I got something else in the works at the time of this recording. It's gonna take a while because again my throat's fucking killing me right now, but I hope you like it. Anyway, for now, bye bye.